Okay, welcome to my presentation of beroepsopdracht 4A. The aim of this subject was to establish constructive alignment between three lessons and to use the task-based learning approach instead of the standard PPP module, which stands for present practice and production approach. In brief, a task-based lesson is based around the completion of certain tasks, and the language is determined by what happens as the students complete it. The goal for my lesson series was to have the students learn and apply the present continuous by completing certain tasks. But first, let me tell you which class I have taught. My class was a first year's MAVO class at Bredero MAVO in Amsterdam. The students are regularly taught with the aforementioned PPP method, so it was kind of a breath of fresh air for both the students and me, because I don't tend to go outside of my comfort zone. I usually stick to the PPP module as it gives me a certain feeling of control, whereas the TBL revolves around the students being busy, completing tasks which I give them and which I will explain later on as we move on in the presentation. What you see in front of you is my BO4A document, my verslag, my assignment, and let's go through it. I already gave a short introduction, and let's move on to the justification of my teaching materials. The course books we usually use at the Bredero MAVO is stepping stones. This is a well-known method amongst the English teachers. There are some down from my own experiences at Bredero with using stepping stones, is the fact that it puts a damp on my creativity. As soon as I keep myself busy with stepping stones, I don't like to deviate from it. The reason why is it gives me back again at what I mentioned before, is that it gives me a certain feeling of control. I know where the students are, what we have to do for the SO, for the repetitie, and I can keep on track what the schedule says. That's why I, from my point of view, that's the reason why I like to work with stepping stones. Furthermore, the manner of structure, how the grammar and vocab explanations are laid out in stepping stones, it's very clear. It's very organized, and the teacher has to do little to no effort to plan a lesson. You say, okay, last time we stopped at exercise 12. Let's work from there on. And from my own experiences, I can see that the students enjoy this way of working with the course books. They enjoy this because for them it's something new, and it gives them it gives them a clear sense of, okay, this is what we have to do and this is our homework. However, there are certainly downsides to the stepping stones. As I mentioned previously, a huge issue I encountered personally is that these books damp my creativity. I rely too much on them, and I'm very dependent on them. everything is already laid out for me, and I don't like to deviate from it. Um, and it has also become a sort of huge checklist for the students to just tick off and say, okay, last time we were working from exercise 10, we stopped at exercise 10, and as soon as you deviate from that path, they start acting confused. Oh, teacher, we stopped at exercise 10. Why do we have to work from exercise 14 today? Uh, they don't like this way of working. Um, they don't like, and I'm not just speaking for the students, but for myself as well. We don't like change in general. But to come to this conclusion, I have performed a course material analysis before combining what I have in the course books to make it a TBL lesson. Uh, the few questions it it had for me as the teacher was, does the activity engage your learner's interest? As I mentioned before, my aim for the lesson series was to teach the present continuous to the MAFO students, um, and do it with a TBL approach, meaning they have to perform tasks which has to do with the present continuous, but without falling in the same old, okay, let's work. I'm instructing them. I'm telling what the rules are, and they have to work from the workbook. Uh, the activities from within the workbooks are not very engaged. What I noticed weren't very engaging. The first question is, does the activity engage your learner's interest? The answer was no. It introduces a topic in a generic and robotic manner by presenting the rules immediately. The rules in the stepping stones are very laid out. These are the rules. The present continuous is formed by a form of to be plus the stem and adding en g at the end. It's not very challenging. It doesn't engage the students. The students just have to memorize the rules and try to apply them. That's it. When asked if they enjoy working this way, uh, uh, the answer is a yes and no. Yes, because it gives some structure, but no, it's very robotic and it's very boring. So that's where the first challenge for me was, how can I make grammar and the present continuous more fun and more challenging for them. So I could change the following to make it more task-based by introducing the topic with examples that relate to the real world. Um, um, as I've mentioned in my essay, which you can read later on, um, the students had to design a road trip for me. The pre-task, the pre-task was introducing the topic by visuals, by showing them pictures of things that have to do with travel and countries. So the first three pictures was from a monkey who was chilling, a girl who was driving, and a football player playing football. The students were uh, had to see the pattern, were exposed to the present continuous before actually them knowing that they're already busy with the present continuous. I haven't given them the rules. I haven't given them the exceptions to the rules. They I just wanted to expose them to the present continuous. They don't have to do anything with it yet at this stage. They only have to think and see if they can uh, and see if they can see a pattern to the present continuous. Afterwards, they had to use this prior knowledge to translate five small easy sentences. Again, it was okay if they made any mistakes. They only have to use the prior knowledge of the visual task into translating the sentences. And the main task was designing the road trip using the continuous, which I have uh, partially explained between these two stages, between the pre-task and the main task, because I have to provide them vocab and certain grammar rules to make the road trip exercise, to make the main task a success. And let's see. The theoretical justification to the lesson series was, let's see. My aim was to have a overall theme, a overall goal that I wanted to reach, and that was the present continuous. The present continuous was present in every stage of the lesson series, within the main task, the pre-task, and the post-task. Why did I do this? Because the principle of constructive alignment is formed uh, on not only on the basis of how learning behavior can be influenced by the design, but also that the lesson series has one common thing, which was the present continuous and the uh, countries and travel topic behind it. As I mentioned, the TBL approach suits the students I'm teaching. They're between 12 to 13 years old. They are very eager, as you can see in the video compilation, provided the subject is made very attractive for them. They like to keep themselves busy. However, once again, it was kind of difficult for them to adjust to the TBL model because they're usually taught with the PPP module. Um, Furthermore, the as mentioned before, the PP module pushes memorization instead of actually learning, uh, which I didn't want them to just memorize, but learning how to apply and when to apply the present continuous. And this is deep level learning. Deep level learning is to comprehend, begrijpend leren, where the students and teachers seek to develop intrinsic motivation. I don't want them just reproduce learning where there's little to no satisfaction at all. Uh, these are the pre-task pictures I used. As you can see, the first picture says he's just chilling, he's playing football, and she's driving a car. And at the end, after the lesson series, so this is the lesson plan forms. I try to evaluate at least afterwards, which I have explained in my evaluation. The first positive with the TBL it has forced me out of my comfort zone because the PPP approach to me was a safe way of teaching. Furthermore, it was way more productive. Instead of working from the same old workbook, the students actually had to use the present continuous for real world activities. They had to look up hotel tickets, plane tickets, etc.